to just do something. Hey, I don't know what. I just turned green all of a sudden. It's not easy. I'm telling you, it's really not easy, but I just want to make sure that I am here and you are here and we are here together. And there are 4 of you here already. I don't know who you are, but hello, 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 hello. 6 now. Ooh, who's here? Melanie DeMore in the house, in the kitchen, all around. Stacy and William and Julie, do something. I know. Well, I was just sitting here going, why am I so green? It's very strange. And it's as bright as I can be. And yeah, we're still partying. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the balloon sets off the lighting a little bit. So you guys, I know you're used to having Corona Roki on Thursday nights, but it's been a little bit of an adjustment where we are now doing Corona Roki the 3rd Thursday of every month. We were doing it every Thursday night. And, you know, when I was talking to the guy over there, he said, you know what? I go, yeah, we kind of said it in the same conversation. We need to just like do this a little less often. Like maybe I think he said 1st and I said 3rd Thursday of the month. And the other Thursdays, we're talking to the creatives. So it's all about, hey, Rob, Morocco, Carol, Morocco, do, 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 do. I'm thinking I might want to learn how to play violin. I'm wondering who I could learn from. I never thought about it, but I think it might be kind of fun because then other things could happen. John DeFazio, hello there, sir. But before I get into that, I'm just going to go over a couple things really quick for those of you. My name is Jenna Mammina. This is 11:11 with Jenna. I do the show every day at 11:11 a.m. and every night at 11:11 p.m. Eastern time. That way, East Coast people, West Coast people, people in the middle, Mr. Jones, what's up? Can all watch it. And it's also uploading slowly but surely to YouTube. And I also have a way that you can support the show. And there are fun ways of doing it, like today, excuse me, Jeff Metzger and Julie Luce, I received your card in the mail. Thank you very much. So what are those ways? What? How do you do it? Let me just show you. It's easier if I just show you versus talking about it. I'll just post it super fast. And then you'll know. Then you can refer back to this quick little post right here. There we go. Business is done. Tomorrow morning, Armando and pie or cake. Tomorrow night, display and share. Saturday morning, one more Saturday morning with Jeff Metzger. Saturday night, one more Saturday night with Gary Lambert. Sunday morning, I will be singing from a church with my friend David Long. Sunday night, Mr. Grenadier is going to be here. We're going to be talking a little bit musicians square table. Monday morning, I meander. Monday night, I meditate. Tuesday morning, we make a smoothie. Tuesday night, Dr. Andrew Rader. Wednesday morning, we bake with Patty. Where are you? Patty Lohman. Wednesday night, community night, and seems to be kind of a laughter kind of thing going on there. Thursday morning, sort of chill like we did today. And Thursday night's conversations with the creatives. And right now, I am going to bring on my creative. Ladies and gentlemen, Irene Sazer! There she goes. Is walking, cruising out to behind the curtain. Magical Irene. Hi. Thanks, Dave.
Well, I have never gotten a welcome like that before. That was exciting. Oh my God.
It's exciting here every night on 11:11 with Jenna. I'm telling you, every night is different. And it's really fun. And I'm so excited that you're here. Just so you guys know, my balloon is here. It didn't go away. And the flowers, Grace and I are sharing the flowers. So what's up?
Hi.
Hi. Finally.
really, since we've actually even had a visit. It's been a very long time.
Long time, long
Yeah.
time. Because you're busy, I'm busy, and they're different busies, and so it takes a pandemic to get us in the same square, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. A lot of good things came out of it, you know?
Yeah, I agree for many, and then not so much for some.
Oh, right. Totally. Totally. I'm just trying to, con myself into saying that sometimes, just for the reminders.
True.
But
I mean, I feel that in my life, that there are a lot of things that have subsided, and there are gifts in this that I hope to carry through post-pandemic.
yeah,
Pares life down.
lessons for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you posted something really interesting the other day. You posted this really beautiful painting, and then it ended up, is it your gate?
It's my gate.
The gate at the front of your home.
Yeah. It's funny. I ran, and I'm saying I ran because the pandemic has after 16 years of running Berkeley Music and Art Camp, which has been this huge joy in my life, and Creative Strings Chamber Camp, I'm still going to run some small programs. But these were pretty big programs in my studio, and I have this big music studio in the yard, and it would become summer camp every summer for many, 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 many years. And sometimes we do murals, but that mural I did myself, and with a little bit of help of Erin Paxson, who started out as a violin student of mine, went to camp, became a CIT, became a counselor, became my assistant. This is a grown-up person now. Got a little help from Erin on this. I'll just give a little credit where it's due, but I mostly did it. But what was funny is I wanted it to be, everybody involved. And then when I was finally done, I realized, oh, there's not a white person on there. So it's fully people of color. And it's
Really
so
great.
beautiful. It's
It's
so,
really beautiful.
I really celebrate that.
So I didn't announce you. I mean, someone asked me, well, is she a musician? I said, yeah, she's a violinist, but she plays viola. And then I thought, I bet you play a lot of different instruments. I
Yeah,
have sixth sense that you're one of those that you pick it up and just, you can play it.
it's somewhat true. I mean, violin and viola, and I have a 5-string, so it's a violin and a viola, is definitely my expertise.
Are there many of those? I mean, is that
More and more, more and more. And I
when
think
you first started it though, like 5-string viola?
there were very, very few, if any.
And how did it come about? What was that?
Well, this is what I think is interesting. Way back in the day, hundreds of years ago in Europe, where viols were, there were all different shapes of viols before. I think it was in 16 something, and I should know when it happened, but the violin itself was standardized. But before that, and you can find pictures of instruments and paintings of instruments, there were multiple strings. It was very in flux for a very long time. So I feel like that's happening again, and there are 6-string violins. I wish I had a 6-string, but I can't afford it. I've seen an Indian violinist, El Subramanian, play a double-necked, like 12-string
Wow.
violin. And I also think, and I love talking about this, so I'm glad you asked, because the world of string players, when I was going to school, and I was serious as a classical player, and I went to a conservatory, and I played in some orchestras, and I did a lot of chamber music and etc. But then I really had to become an improvising string player, and it was weird at the time. Like, nobody would take me on as a student because you play violin. What do I do with that? But back in the day, in Renaissance times and in Baroque times, people were improvisers. String players were improvisers. So I really feel like there's this continuum with both the stretching out of stretching the rules of what is a viol, and also
Now you
how
say viol. I don't, I mean, that's a term of all.
It's an old term. I
Viol.
mean, as far as I know, that it's the viol family. So violoncello, you know, it's, I mean, people don't walk around saying I play viol now unless they're in the Renaissance community. Then they do.
And are you in that? Do you do the Ren?
I do everything because I do everything I love. So if I want to like make some really airy, resonant, beautiful old sounds, I like that's one of my favorite kind of sounds.
I hire you to play on my record because you can make those beautiful, airy. So those of you that have my first record, Under the Influence, or I'm sorry, it's over there, and on my Abby Lincoln record,
Thank
and
you.
I think one other one, and if not, it's been in my brain. So we've talked about doing that, about
Yeah.
doing something with. So okay, veal. How do you spell? How do you spell that? Because my friend Zeno just said VEAL question mark.
Root of violin and viola, it's VIOL.
VIOL. Veal.
Yeah. So if you Google viol, you'll see all kinds of crazy shaped.
So
old-
now when we run into a string player and we want to be cool, we say, so do you play any other viol? Is that
Oh, it would be totally geeky doing that.
right? So that makes us look kind of like, wow, we're kind of cool. So you're a viol. You like, so you play violin. Okay, so tell us what you play. Please share with us.
I mostly play violin because I have a beautiful acoustic violin. And then I have this beautiful 5-string fiddle that was made in Sweden. That's a violin and a viola. I play a little guitar, I play a little piano, I sing. I mean, I've done a lot of singing at certain points in my life, not so much lately, but I still love to sing. What else do I do? I don't know. I paint a lot these days.
I see that. And you paint, you reconstruct and paint.
I do really weird things. I have a little bit of examples around me. Here's my weird latest project. So I've been painting. Okay, this is how it started. I've been drawing for years and years and years. And finally last year, maybe 2 years ago, I looked at all these things that I've been drawing and they're very kind of design oriented, and weird creatures. And I mean, I have a very weird style. I'd say if there's anybody that's influenced me, it's Kandinsky. But you know, Kandinsky is Kandinsky. But
right.
there's
Irene Sazer is Irene Sazer. So
just as we all are. So I finally just I think a couple of years ago went, wow, I should literally go to the art store and get a portfolio book. And for the first time I did that. And I really allowed myself to sink into it because as a musician, you know, there's almost no time that you're not supposed to be working on your craft and your art. And I compose but I was doing it and feeling guilty. I'm not doing my other work. And then I really sunk into it. And so there were these instrument pieces that I've had around because I teach and because of summer camps. And there was there's a cello neck. I don't have it here. I can't show it. That's one of my favorite things. And just pieces of instruments. And I was cleaning stuff out and wanting to declutter. And I looked at them and I thought, okay, what am I going to do? There's a body of a student cello. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm going to paint them. So I started on this whole thing where I asked people, and I went to the violin shop that's local to us in Berkeley, which is Ifshin Violin. And I kind of go there all the time to get their, you know, things they would just throw away. And this is one little example. I don't have much of my instruments where
that's sweet.
This was a student bridge that my dogs chewed on. You know, and the other side is a little wild.
Oh, that's so cool. I love that.
I'm a hippie. You know, so I started, and for the first time ever, my website, if you go to irenesazer.com, it has, you know, links to music, and it's mostly about me as a musician, but I've just recently actually made some art pages, which it's really exciting. You know, I'm 61 years old and I get to just kind of follow this path. And so this is my latest project. So I have been hiking a lot in the pandemic. And there's a place that I hike where there are all these mulched pieces of wood. And I looked at one of them one day. I love this guy.
Here, hold on one second. I'm gonna go into speaker so that it gets the whole, oh.
I love the expression of this little fishy. And I just started seeing these pieces of wood that were in the shape of fish.
I love the color palette.
This is
Beautiful.
my latest project. And I'm just, flights of fancy. Here's another one that's kind of a
Ooh.
jewelry kind of thing. And it's going to be a mobile. And my friend has this perfect place over a staircase near a beautiful print of the ocean. So, I'm just following
Following your bliss.
I really am. I'm really lucky. Yeah.
You learned. You got the message early on.
It's taken a long time actually to give myself permission to do it.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Believe me. So you grew up in LA.
I did.
And you grew up in a musical world.
I grew up in a very musical family. My father, who is 94, who still plays his cello every day. And I was telling you earlier that he walks 2 miles. Now that he's 94, he's gone down from 3 miles a day, but he's doing really well. And he plays his cello every day. But for most of his professional life, he was a studio player in LA. So, and he also played chamber music and he played in orchestras around. But do you want to hear what he did in LA?
I do. We all do. All 12, 13 of us want to hear. And those that'll come and see later on. And you can share this on your page.
Oh, yes. Great. Yeah. So actually, my sister might be. If you see somebody named Lenore, that's my sister.
Has anyone seen Lenore? Lenore, are you here? I have not seen. But when you share it on your page, then all your friends will watch it.
Yeah. Okay, so the most exciting one was that so back in the day of variety shows, live musicians were hired, and all the variety shows that we watched as kids had house bands. And my father was in, well, I'll name some of them. So he played on the Jonathan Winters show. He played on the Red Skelton show. He played on the Smothers Brothers show, who I love so much. He played on Sonny and Cher.
He did?
On the Sonny and Cher show.
No, Cher is one of my main spirit animals.
Oh, I love Cher. I got to see Cher.
Did you meet her?
Well, I didn't meet her. Our eyes met because I was 2016.
Oh my gosh.
In Washington. And she across the street. I know. She was across the street. And a bunch of us stopped and we went, that's Cher. And then she looked at us and she was just, it was like the most humble. It's like, here we are. We all got to show up here and make this happen. And I swear we had a moment. Wow. My life is complete.
So your father, would he take you to the shows?
Okay, so the one that he took me to, this is my Carol Burnett story. So it's happening right now. So he played on the Carol Burnett show for many years. And he took me, and I was like 9 or 10 years old. I think I was 10 years old. And I got to go backstage after the show and meet her. And all I remember 2 things. I remember that I was smiling so wide that I couldn't see her because I was smiling so wide that my eyes were closed. And then I remember she kissed me, and I honestly don't remember now if it was my cheek or my hand, but I was like, I'll never wash it again.
Carol Burnett, that is.
It was so exciting.
That's beyond bomb shit. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So he did that as you were growing up. That was his gig. He'd go
out at night. That's what he did. He went out at night, which is something that when I became a parent, I did not want to do. I was very unhappy going out at night. So I really switched it up so that I could teach and then be around at night. And then, yeah.
And how we met originally was you were, to me, you were an original member of the Turtle Island String Quartet,
Yeah.
which was to me, I think I was 22, 3 when I thought that it was like the first accessible string quartet for me to really
Huh.
understand and enjoy. And I saw you perform quite a few times and I became friends. I met,
Daryl, Dave, Mark.
well, I met Mark because he was doing a project at a studio that I lived in a house where there was a recording studio. I lived at Live Oak Recording Studio.
Oh, I didn't realize, or maybe I do. I have a vague memory of that actually.
And so a lot of those guys were coming through on different projects. And then I met Mike and Daryl and then I started learning all about these cool, I still have, I think I have a cassette of Turtle Island. Like
I do.
yeah. And I think it was it was like a special thing or something. But anyway, so you were an original member of the Turtle Island String Quartet, but you were playing viola.
Yeah, I was a violinist strictly, although I always wanted to play viola because, you know, if you can play violin, you can learn to play viola very easily. So I hung around them for a while. I was in Baltimore where I went to school and I was playing in the symphony there and I was playing in some bands in Baltimore. And then I really wanted to come back to California, but I didn't want to live in LA. I actually chose not to live in such a commercial city. It was much more appealing to me to be with more creatives in the Bay Area. And I just fell in love with the Bay Area. I had no idea when I was in my mid-20s how expensive it was going to be. I just wanted to live there.
Stacy said, "Oh my God, Turtle Island! I saw you in New York, San Francisco." Yeah, Stacy, I have really cool people on my show all the time. You need to come hang out more often, Stacy. Come on the show and be a guest sometime. So you were in Baltimore, and then
one day I just decided I'm driving out to the Bay Area. I'm moving. I'm doing it, and I just hung around because I had met Daryl and in Baltimore doing a concert with Mike. And I just hung around them and they were playing with a friend of theirs. And I just kept saying, make it a quintet, please make it a quintet. But then she ended up leaving before even, I think, the first official concert. So I learned how to play viola in 9 days. That's how motivated I was. I was highly motivated.
And when you say you learned how to play in 9 days, what did you do in those 9 days?
I really, because my father was a cellist, it was a lot about reading the clef. I mean, I could play it, I could find a good sound. I've always been a sound maven on the instrument. So I could pick it up and make a nice sound. It took a little adjustment.
You guys just feel her, the way I mean, yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel so lucky. I feel so lucky. But it was about reading the clef. And here's how I did it. My father was a cellist and my father was a beautiful teacher. So I grew up in a household. Also, my siblings, my oldest sister played cello, my next oldest sister played flute, and my brother played and plays violin. So, but because my father was a cello teacher, I heard the Bach cello suites my whole life, like they're in my bones. And so it just worked so well. I got a copy of a transcription of the Bach cello suites for viola, and I knew them. And so I started playing them, and I was reading the clef in days, just because I knew the music. So if you ever want to learn a different instrument where you have to learn a different clef, find music that you know.
So did they give you music to work with?
I had the first
concert. Where was the first concert?
The first concert we played was 9 days after I went and picked up my viola. I got a rental viola. And I remember that Dave Grissman was in the audience. And I was highly motivated. I mean, and I had just come out of you know, I spent 4 years at a serious conservatory. I did a year in the Banff Center of Fine Arts, where I really started honing some improvisational skills. And I mean, I was in good shape. I was in very good playing shape. So it was really exciting, really,
Because
really.
then you guys went everywhere.
And we went to New York, and then we made our first album, and then we toured all over the place. Yeah. Yeah. It was an incredible launching ground. It was an incredible learning experience. I only played 3 years in the band, and I just had to follow my muse. I really wanted to sing. I really wanted to develop that part of myself and writing songs. But when I left the band, not only did I miss the people and the experiences, but I really, I grieved the music. I had really bonded with so much of that beautiful music. That was a big deal. But it took me a long time to kind of meander to, finding what is my real voice. And then I started Real Vocal String Quartet. And what did we do? We play string instruments and sing. So that's what I had to do.
And how long has that been going on? RVSQ.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally on pandemic hiatus for sure. But I think for at least a dozen years, maybe more than that. And that led me to what my real passion is at this point in my life musically, which is collaborating culturally. So the last big concert that Real Vocal String Quartet did was at Yerba Buena Center for the Arts in San Francisco. And it's a project that I produced and directed and developed. And we wrote music with artists from all over the world. It was a sister city project. So most of them were from San Francisco sister cities. And I was able to get a Gerbode Foundation grant, which was a nice hefty grant, even though I still went into debt. Still like I learned like, it's a lot of money really isn't a lot of money, especially when you include a lot of people. But people came over from Brazil and Spain, and we had a singer from Cork, Ireland, and a woman who's mostly Bay Area based, Feli Chaco from Cote d'Ivoire, and we played with a woman from South Korea, and I know I'm forgetting places.
How wonderful.
And so now one of the things I want to mention tonight is that there's an event coming up that's called the Berkeley Festival of Choro, which is a Brazilian style of music. And it was going to be in person, but it's COVID-19 pandemic time, so it's all going to be streamed on April 12th and 13th at 5 p.m. And you can go to Berkeley Choro Festival or
You want to post after the show, you can post any links that you want. Your link, that link, and there are questions being asked. And yeah, you were on, of course, Larry Kelp's show. Yeah, we love Larry Kelp.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Dirk Richardson.
Dirk.
How many? Kevin Vance. Have you been on Kevin Vance's show ever on
No.
KW?
Have I been on Kevin Vance?
It's a little bit more, it's more folk.
Dirk and Larry and all over KCSM and then the other station in San Francisco, and way back the others. I worked at K-Jazz.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that.
I worked there till the night it ended, till the 11:59 it went off the air.
I remember that, and that was really a loss. That was a huge loss.
It was just like being at a funeral. I mean, at 11:59 when Jerry Dean, we were sitting there and we said goodnight, and the other station switched over right at midnight.
Oh my God, that's really sad.
We were wrapping up the albums and all the audio, and K-San I've been on, yeah, and also more of the like I'm thinking Brad Stone, but I can't think of the call letters. Now you got me.
That's okay. I'm sure there's a lot I can't think of myself.
I think it's just you. Sorry, because I don't know any other sound things. So what did you have for lunch today?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
You want to know what I had for lunch?
We all do.
Oh.
It's a thing here on 11:11.
I didn't know that. I took a corn tortilla, and I put on some Nancy's refried black beans, and then I put on some non-dairy cheese because I can't do the cheese. And then I toasted that up, and I chopped up some avocado and a little bit of carrot. And a new thing that I discovered this year because of the pandemic, I have a friend who's a beautiful caterer in Berkeley. And she's being a food provider for people. So it's like a farm box, but she's got a big list that you can choose from.
Who is it?
Lucy, and she's got her. How can I forget my friend Lucy's last name? Because I have to look. Because Lucy is somebody I've known for decades and decades, and it's an Armenian name, but I just don't want to say what her last name. So I'm going to say Agajian, Lucy Agajian. And she's providing straight from farms, Full Belly Farms, all these organic farms, and she's providing veggies and meats that we can order. It's not like a farm box that shows up.
Right.
I really can chat, can't I? 2 hours later.
Well, you know, another thing that I do on the show is I've started doing it. You know how there's the show on MTV? I never saw it, but it was called Cribs.
I've heard of it.
Well, mine is Fridge. So sometimes I ask people to show me their fridge. And my friend Rob just said, Irene is lucky she's not near a fridge right now, because I might ask to see what's in your fridge or your pantry or whatever. But
so this is what I discovered from Lucy, a new thing that I never knew about. It's called watermelon radishes.
Oh, yeah.
These?
I've had them, but not often.
So I order them every week. And you open them up, and they're like these beautiful jewels inside, and they're sweet. They're not super spicy radishes. They're just sweet.
Yeah, they don't like. No. I love radishes, but you eat one, you go, yeah, I'm going to have another one like in a week.
Yeah, this is not that way. It's sweet, but it's really crunchy. So yeah.
Maybe we'll grow them at my friend's farm this summer. Okay, so that's what you had for lunch. And what kind of non-dairy cheese are you rocking these days? What's your company?
I can't remember what it's called. I can go into my Instacart thing and find it.
Because I like what's it called? I like this one. Hold on.
I'm looking for mine.
my Kosa, what is it? Oh, it's downstairs in the other fridge.
Okay, I'm looking because I'm going to my Instacart.
Mykosos or something?
Oh, I don't know. What is mine? Mine is my God. This is hilarious. Mine is called, you won't believe this. It's called Veal Life.
It is? See? No, it's everywhere for you.
Veolife. That is hilarious. Yeah. And it's mature cheddar slices, and it's good melted.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah,
I'll check it out. Why are so online everything? So, and you have 2 children.
I do. They're young adults now.
And they are where?
So my daughter is in LA. Oh, Jenna, you have to hear my daughter sing.
I do. I want to.
She was just about to go to South by Southwest when it was canceled.
Yeah, it sure was.
And she plays with some really, really lovely people who they were young. They made their first recordings the summer after they graduated from their senior year. And it's called Molly with Charles. And some of these kids came out of the Berkeley High Jazz program, which we know, like we have colleagues who are major musicians in, major musical influences that came out of that.
Peter Applebaum, who you guys have seen on the show, and Stephen Bernstein, who's been on the show. I think that's all I can think of this moment.
Donna Utah, Will Bernard.
Will hangs out on the show, but he's not been on the show.
Jessica Jones and her husband, whose name I'm totally forgetting.
Tony.
And I mean, on and on and on and on and on. And it's still, so Sarah Klein, shout out to Sarah Klein, because the program she's running is just as vibrant and amazing as ever. So some of the kids in Molly's band came out of that program, and some of them came out of the OSA, the Oakland School for the Arts. And they're like the new
Campbell.
people in the whole world.
Yeah.
And they're making really beautiful, kind of like neo soul stuff. Shout out to Molly with Charles. They're really good. And then my son, oh, and yeah, I mean, I could go on and on about my kids, but my son is also a really beautiful guitarist. But he's just 20, he's just finding his way. And I really feel sorry for the 20-year-olds in the pandemic.
Oof.
It's like life just came to a screeching halt at a time that they're supposed to be,
Yeah. Is he in the Bay Area?
He is in the Bay Area, yeah. And before the pandemic, he was working at a bakery and getting very excited about learning how to bake in the city. And he
Ooh.
was also interning at the Lindsay Wildlife Museum. Do you know that place? It's in Walnut Creek, and they take in wildlife that has been injured and they release them to the wild if they can, but they keep them if they can't. And my kids went there on field trips and like got to see an owl presentation and hedgehog and a porcupine. And then my son was doing that. He was becoming the docent, showing the kids, and that got, it just all stopped. So he's working at a bakery right now. He's doing
That's cool.
Yeah.
Learning, I mean, bakery to me is like learning how to bartend, because once you learn how to do it, you can kind of do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can bake out of your house and sell whatever it is you're baking, or you can go get a job in a bakery, or not that you can make drinks out of your house and sell them, but you know what I mean? Like you could travel to New Zealand and get a job.
Maybe he should do that.
Why not?
The time is right.
Yeah. So what's on your agenda for the next week of your life? What's going on? Besides painting all those glorious.
I'm going to keep painting. And I actually was painting right up until I joined Zoom. I was like, no, I got to put my paints away. And I teach a bunch of students. So I'm really lucky as a musician because I did make a choice to teach and then only play the music I want to play. So my income became less based on, although I've gotten grants. I mean, grant writing is more and more what I was starting to do. And in fact, I have a grant that I got from the city of Berkeley this past year. And I'm doing a collaboration with a woman who's in the Ohlone tribe. And we're going to do a presentation. So that's going to happen, but that's a long-term project. But I'm lucky that what's up?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. But next week I'll teach a lot of lessons, a lot of violin lessons and one piano lesson, and do a lot of painting and lay in the sun a bunch because the weather is going to be gorgeous next week. It already has started.
Yeah. All the flowers are popping and everything.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps if you're around on May 7th, I keep saying June because I do have a gig on May 7th, I will be at the back room and I'll be in Berkeley hanging around. So
I just wrote it down.
Let's hang out. And if I could ask you right after this is over, I'm gonna FaceTime you and we're gonna do a super quick little private interview that goes on to my Patreon page.
Okay.
And I'll ask you other questions that I didn't ask you tonight.
Great.
So if people want to know about those, to learn more about Irene Sazer, but it is Irene SAZER. And realvocalstringquartet.com.
RVSQ.com. Yeah.
Fun stuff. How many albums? Do you know how many albums you've been on? Any idea?
No, every once in a while I go on one of those, like I look myself up and I look at my discography, but there's a lot that's not on it. I think there are like 42 albums on that, but they're, I don't think your albums, I don't think, I don't know. I don't remember which, my albums aren't on it. So, a
How many
lot.
albums do you have?
Well, I have my singer-songwriter album, which is called First Things First. And then I have my real vocal albums, we have 4. I think, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have lots.
And
Well,
you
and
have lots too. You have a lot too. You've probably recorded and recorded and recorded.
I record. I do. I have. I've recorded for my own stuff and then worked with other people and made fun stuff, and hopefully we'll be doing more. I'm working on a project with a gentleman by the name of David Lom, who's Dorothy Field's son, pianist. And right now we're working on a piece that he wrote in ode to Joni Mitchell. So it's very Joni Mitchell-esque chords and his great lyrics that reference some of her songs. And so I'm learning that. And yesterday we got together and I started singing it. And then I looked over at him and I go, this is a really hard song. He goes, I know. That's why I'm having you sing it. And I went, right, I'll take that.
Yeah.
So we're working on that project. And then Rolf and I are slowly figuring out how we're going to do what we did and do some more of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Well, thank you, Irene Sazer. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here, there's another little special standing ovation for you. And if you ever feel like coming on, anytime you can come on. Like on Friday nights, I have a show called Display and Share where people come on and they say, I have this really cool little thing, or I have these really beautiful pieces of art that I paint on wood that you would love to show. Sunday nights, musicians square table, people come on and we talk about how we're doing it, what we're doing, what's going to happen, where we're going to go, what we're going to do. And on the third Thursday is Corona Roki. If you want to come on and perform sometime, I'm inviting you.
An amazing array of possibilities.
It's fun. And if you know anyone that you think would be fun to have on the show,
I will think about that. Absolutely.
Always looking for more groovy people such as yourself, but you're a total blast. Wasn't
Well,
it, you guys? And there are a lot of questions that I'm sorry I did not get to ask you, but
I'll just say yes. Yes to everything.
yes. Start by saying yes. Irene Sazer, everyone, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'll see you in a couple of minutes, okay?
Thank you.
You're awesome. Fantastic. You made my night. She's so cool, right? Well, you guys, here we are. 11:11 with Jenna. Now you know Irene Sazer, and now you can check out her music and Real Vocal String Quartet's music. And we all learned a new term, viol. So you're in the viol world, are you? And yeah, fabulous attitude. Stacy, thanks for being here. Rob Morocco, Bill Jones, Bill, Carl, Julie. Ah, bacon bread. Nice. Zeno, thank you, Melanie. Rob, Morocco, Mama Grace, all y'all, thank you very much for being here. It is 10:56 and I'm not going to keep Irene waiting. So I am going to say, have a beautiful night because there's still 4 minutes left of it on the East Coast and quite a bit of it left on the West Coast. And I'm going to go do an interview and walk my dog and hang out and enjoy the rain. Real thoughts. Round words and a realistic heart. Huge, huge, huge hug. Thanks again, Julie Luce. I love your card. Made me smile. I can't believe Irene is lucky. Oh, yeah, she's not near a fridge. Oh, Carol, thank you. And you're feeling better. Yes? Yes. Maybe tomorrow afternoon, later afternoon, we could talk. But tomorrow morning, I'll be back here with Armando Ortega. Mama Grace, I'll see you in a little bit. Everybody else, see you when I see you. And maybe I'll see you on 11:11 with Jenna. Stay safe. Be nice. Stay healthy. And love hard. Really hard.